I'm going to guess we're live. The connection is excellent, so all of that's really good. Hello, and welcome to Part 5, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I'm doing a walkthrough, and I was very much looking forward to doing this live stream tonight, more so maybe than any other night. And then we got the terribly sad news that Tina Turner, the legend, had passed away in her home. And sad moment for everybody. Certainly an incredible singer, incredibly talented, a gargantuan talent, really, and just a really amazing, deep, for me, to me, it's just my humble opinion, a very earthy, sort of rustic sounding woman who could cross genres of pop and rock and appeal to all kinds of audiences, young and old, and certainly a behemoth in the music industry, now gone. And for me, someone who transcended her circumstances, really terrible circumstances. All right, so we're going to get to the game, and I'm just going to be peppering in a few details about Tina Turner's life. I was amazed. I watched the documentary on HBO, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen, and just was reading all kinds of articles about her life and just remembering her, listening to her music. And she really, really was incredible. And I think not just incredible because of her contributions to the music industry, but what she endured and the lack of bitterness that could have developed that she just never had. So I had plans to talk about something else, but I thought Tina Turner was the one to talk about in my little teaser video for this. I talked about the fact that I can remember listening to her best of album that I got from, I think it was Target when I was in middle school, because we didn't have really pop music in the house, and the compilation of songs really just launched me into hearing and understanding different genres of music, and it was she was special in that way for me. So rest in peace, Miss Tina Turner, who died at 83 years old near Zurich, and she became a Swiss citizen, I think, some time ago. All right, so time for us now to transition right into a little bit of gameplay, and I'll just pepper in some thoughts here and there. All right, let's get into it. All right, guys. So here we are. We activated this shrine here, and I hope you can hear the game. That's my great hope. And let's see. Now I think it is time for us to talk to Pura. And actually, I do remember we were going to try to get to the top of a shrine adjacent structure. And so now that we can do this sky ascending and falling, let's do it. Why not? See if we can make it to this spot that I wanted to get something that was on top. Seemed like it might be a lovely chest. Okay. From this high up, it seems like you're super close, but you're not. Glide. I think you gotta do that to get back to the free fall. I'm not close. We wanna dive onto that, and I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't think you can get high enough. And remember, when you are free falling, if you activate your glider, you're gonna use stamina. So if you don't have a lot of stamina, you're gonna run out, which is something I learned yesterday. Well, I knew, but I kind of forgot. So just a reminder to all of you. I don't know if that chest is something we're gonna get right now. We tried maybe 3 or 4 times. All right, let's go back and talk to Pura because I know we need to do that before we can move on to our next quest. I don't know if we're gonna be doing a lot of arrow shooting today, but one thing that came to mind as I was talking to my husband about this game after Breath of the Wild. So it looks like you don't have specialty arrows. You don't have shock arrows. You don't have freeze arrows, ice arrows, or fire arrows. Any of the specialty arrows. Those no longer exist in this game. You have to use your fuse to attach something that you need per him. And obviously you did recover your map. Alright, so she wants us to check our map, and obviously if she's telling us there's something strange going on, clearly there's something strange going on in the game, so we're going to investigate. The first report comes from Hebra to the northwest, then Eldin, Gerudo, and Lanayru. So all the 4 regions that we need to go to. So I'm assuming this mirrors the Divine Beast quests, because clearly all 4 major regions are represented here. So they're giving us from Pura's assistant, whose name I don't remember right now, and she's not up, that we should go to Rito Village. It sounds like looking into... So it seems like they want us to go to Rito first. That's the suggestion, if I had to guess. You can find them near the entrance of Rito Village. So that's our next place to go. And we need to check out all the villages. Regional phenomena. Alright, so let's take a look at our map and see if this has been updated. Regional phenomena, there they are. And that definitely is where we want to be because we can't select any of the other options. So yeah, so here it's clear that we need to go to Rito Village to get this thing going. So I'm thinking about going into the gloom. But maybe not. Maybe we'll start with this. Okay. So this should be Rito, if I remember correctly. I'm going to go back and look at that map one more time, adventure log rather. So I'm just going to assume that that's the place we want to go head towards. Let's see here. Oh, it's so nice to have a little gliding power. Makes all the difference. All right, so it looks like we're headed right in the right direction. Coincidentally, I didn't really plan that, but we're gonna head this way. We might encounter some shrines, so I'm thinking this is probably gonna take to actually get to the Rito region, likely another, maybe 2 sections, parts. So it might be part 6 or 7 before we get there, because if we do encounter a shrine, I'm going to get it. How much would I bet that's a Korok? It's not! How do you like that? I have yet to make anything with these. I think if you like to build and craft, this game is going to be much more pleasing to you. So let's get back to the arrows that I was talking about. So you can only use bomb arrows if you attach a bomb bloom, I think is what it's called. If you want fire, you have to attach a fire fruit. I haven't tried attaching a ruby, but that seems like that would be a very expensive singular arrow, so I don't know about that. Dazzle fruit. Blind monsters. That actually does look kind of cool. We'll see what that can do, especially when we encounter those boss bokoblins, which look very frightening. I'm going to switch to a different type of melee weapon because we don't want to use fire each and every time as we travel across this lovely, well, not so lovely landscape. This somewhat ragged landscape. I'm seeing a lot of the same architecture as the last game, which makes sense. This is the upheavals happen. This is the same land, but post upheaval. I want to make sure we're still headed in the right direction. This looks like it could be a Korok seed, maybe. I'm going to try to get a couple of these bugs. Worm darners. Bugs will be helpful in upgrading. I find them because you can get... oh, that's another small thing that's different about this game. If you're picking up any rupees, you have to select them. You can't just run over them as you used to. So just one small note for you. Oh, look, there's a Korok seed opportunity. What was that power to make an ice cube in water? I cannot remember it right now. It's not magnesis. Maybe Kronos or something like that. That appears to be gone. Interestingly, these bokoblin arms, the skeletal arms, are really sturdy. 20 is quite impressive. But they break really easily. If you want them to last longer, the thing to do is attach them to something else. So let's switch out for our bokoblin arm and use fuse to, oops, calling a horse. I'm going to turn my volume up a little bit on the game. There we go. The sound I hear is not what you all hear. I learned that after listening to some things back. Okay, so let us fuse is active, so we can just select it, I think. I don't know if it'll let me do that. And it's Y to fuse instead of A. I'm experiencing a very strange phenomenon where I can hear the music on delay. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit more. So, speaking of Tina Turner, what's love got to do with it? Don't judge me, please. Her music was awesome. Really, very catchy, really easy to sing, and had broad appeal. I think that one of the things that's kind of amazing to me, just from a purely observational perspective, on the reality of being a TV, or we're gonna have to get rid of our. Let's see. We can't have metal when you have lightning. But I think something that's, and I don't know how to actually stop these guys. Maybe it's gonna be the bomb. I don't know if the bomb's gonna work. Let's find out. Hopefully. Oh, but I killed myself. But I also killed the bad guys. But Tina Turner became a megastar in her middle age. I mean, by the time she was really, I mean, in her 40s, because I think she and Ike hooked up when she was close to 18 years old, very young. I think she had her first baby at 18, or became pregnant at 18. You know, her youth was with Ike, and they certainly had some great music. I mean, that's sort of undeniable. But I think her true star, you know, was obviously, and partly why, you know, as a lot of people who knew them spoke about, she was really the star of that show. And we saw it even again in her middle age, being able to skyrocket to fame. I think there was one concert she gave in Brazil that had like 100,000 people at it, or something absurd, crazy, close to that, I think. So she was able to sell out arenas, you know, into her 40s and 50s, and that's just incredible. I mean, there were other stars who had that kind of fame, but and the ability to do that, but mostly in their younger years, and certainly, you know, I don't know about the size of the arenas. I mean, she became an undisputed one of the greatest female individual acts of all time, and certainly one of the best, you know, in her of her contemporaries, no doubt, in terms of talent, #1 hits, and just the ability to sell tickets, which is to me is really a very easy measure of how successful an artist is. In many ways, it's one metric I think you can look to. So we don't know what her illness was, but we know she was 83 years old. Now, one thing I found fascinating too is, in the reading I did, that she was born at a segregated Tennessee hospital, which I didn't know. but I think it's both saddening, but also a true testament to what's possible in America, to go from being a sharecropper, her family were sharecroppers, to poverty, to being, one of the most recognizable women in the world. It's a story that is very American and almost uniquely American in its prevalence. I mean, of the superstars of the world who have those rags to riches stories, almost, the majority of them, I think you could say, come from America. All right. We're going to have to leave that for now. I'm thinking about unfusing that. And once you do, I believe you destroy the material. One of the pieces of the material. Let's see. Oh, we got her. So, the home she ended up in after coming from sharecropping and being born in that segregated hospital, she ended up living in a 260,000 square foot property, I believe, which is absolutely crazy, crazy in a good way. I think the other thing that I find really fascinating is the fact that Tina Turner almost apparently, I mean, we don't know because we haven't talked to her specific, although some of you may have. We haven't talked to her. We don't really know what was going on. But what she's publicly said is that she had no real intention of making what happened to her and Ike this thing, which became a defining moment for her. I mean, in interviews, you look at snippets from interviews, and every interviewer, which I understand, it's something you would need to ask if I had had the chance to interview her, I would have asked her about Ike. But she was trying to shed herself of that connection. And the reason she talked about it at the beginning is because, according to her, she wanted to dispel these ideas that it was like this romantic, wonderful, beautiful experience, when obviously it wasn't. He was, according to her, controlling. And he never really denied those allegations. So we have no reason to believe that she was dishonest about it at all. And there were plenty of witnesses, her children and many of the people who were around Ike. And obviously there were also lots of examples of his unfortunate struggles with addiction. And she said after he started, and I think there's even a video of him, what it looks like taking drugs, hard drugs, on camera. I never like to say exactly what I'm seeing because I don't know. We could have been doing a number of things, but it's bad to assume, as they say. Assuming makes an out of you and me. I'm not going to swear, but you know what word I'm talking about. Your derriere. So she told her story to dispel those thoughts and the perception that existed about her marriage to Ike and the duo after they got divorced, and to start to separate herself from him. And she got apparently almost nothing in that divorce, and all the bills, or virtually all the bills, again, according to the common knowledge about what happened. And yet, the only thing she really wanted was her name, which wasn't actually Tina. Her first name was Anna, I believe. And I wonder how many of you have seen the Angela Bassett film portraying her life. I've heard it's pretty brutal. I've never seen it. I'm not sure if I'd want to see it, honestly, because I'm not someone who likes to watch domestic violence on screen. No shade to anyone who wants to see the film. It's not my cup of tea. There was a shrine around here that I could hear nearby, but I don't know where it is. Oh, got rammed. So, you know, I think the fact that she was brave enough to talk about what happened, she had no idea that it was going to take on a life of its own. In fact, she said she called her psychic to ask, is this going to be a problem for me? Is this going to doom me by talking about what really happened with Ike? And according to her, the psychic said, no, it's going to break things wide open. And in some ways you could argue it did, but then she had to live with that hanging over her head. I wonder if she'd made a different choice and kept that silent. And a lot of her contemporaries also said that at that time, it really wasn't something you did, talked about abuse. And so she became also someone who was a hero to many women and anyone who was experiencing a negative domestic situation in which someone was physically, verbally, sexually abusive. I hope I can say those words on YouTube. I know the censorship gods are very strict about things. But just imagine that. Imagine if she had not said anything about it. Think of all the people who wouldn't have been helped by her story, and maybe wouldn't have gotten out of their abusive relationships. When she went on Oprah, Oprah said that they had like 50,000 letters from people thanking her for telling her story and saying that, it changed her life. And then obviously she wrote the book, and she could never escape it. And I just seeing those interviews, seeing her having to relive it each time, you could say, well, okay, well, she's a pop star, she knew what she was doing, and I get that, but I also think she is a human. Side note on that, I think it's unfair for us to think about pop stars and musicians, anyone who's a celebrity, as not human. And I don't think people do that consciously, but we do dehumanize them in some ways. And we dehumanize them by invalidating to some degree the things that they go through. Not everybody, certainly, but this does happen. And I think it's really unfortunate. Because they are just human. And I think also to expect great things from someone who has a great talent in one particular area will leave you very disappointed sometimes. Although, in many ways, from everything I've seen publicly about Tina Turner, she was incredible. I also find it fascinating that people from that era, maybe I'm wrong, you might challenge me on this, people from that era, sans social media, seem to be so much less narcissistic. Those who were, I thought a bug was crawling on me, people who were celebrities from that time. There just seemed to be not as much subjectivity focus for people from that era. Like they were kind of, many of them were stars because they happened to be good at something, not because they were seeking fame to begin with. I mean, of course there were those people too, but folks from Tina Turner's era, there seemed to be more celebrities who really just had a gift and worked that gift, and it wasn't really about the fame, it was about the other stuff that they did, the things that set them apart from other people, their talent and hard work, which I think in many ways are synonymous, although there is some, of course, God-given talent that people have, but clearly she worked it. They worked. They really worked. Apparently, sometimes when she was still with Ike, they would, I think they were called the Ikeettes, the singers, the backup singers, they would all go, sometimes to in the same bus to a couple shows a night, and they'd be practicing like in between gigs, to just get everything right. And I guess he was something of an authoritarian figure, not just for her, but for everyone who worked with them. We're gonna take him across. Why not? I wonder if we can use this to create a little wind. I know you can use a... Oh, that does seem to work, sort of. A little bit. It creates wind. Kind of. That's not helpful. There we go. Okay. Let's see if we can get her going in the right direction here. There we go. Perfect. That worked out. Right, so we're gonna unstick him. Oh, don't go away. If you go online, you can see some of what people have been doing with these guys because they are virtually indestructible. It's kind of funny, and I also do wonder what is up with people. There is a little bit of a sadistic tendency. Now, of course, these are just characters in a video game. They're lines of code that represent a cute, squishy, indestructible thing, but it is a little strange to see what folks are doing with them. My husband thinks they're annoying. I think they're cute. Uh-oh. It's no good. Let us see. I'd love to know your thoughts in the next segment. I can't see comments. I don't know if there are any, but I don't see very many viewers, so probably not. Where's our friend? I saw him. He had his green smoke around here. Oh, there he is. Yeah, ha ha ha. That was my impression of a Korok. Now, if the Koroks produce Korok seeds, are they Koroks? Is that their race? Are they Koroks? I don't know. Maybe I'll just call them green, squishy mutant things. This was a boon for arrows in this area. Alright, we're like halfway there. I feel like we definitely passed some shrines, but Once again, my audio is a little bit strange, so I can't actually hear things happening in real time. In the game, that is. So, we should also note that we don't know what the cause of death was for Miss Tina Turner, just that she'd been suffering from a long illness. But to be 83 years old, she definitely lived a long life. I hope she passed peacefully. So, interesting fact: Tina Turner was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice. Once as part of the Ike and Tina duo, and their the Ike and Tina Review, I think is what it was called, and Ike and Tina Turner Review, and then also as herself, I think in the very early 2000s. How am I gonna get back across here? I don't know. That's just fast travel. So, beyond the Ike and Tina abuse situation, um, Ike Turner was very much in control of her sound, of the group's sound. I mean, he chose the music. He was, of course, that had top billing, um, and when she was clearly the star, I think the greater musical talent. I don't think there's much dispute about that. Certainly the better vocal talent. And she really started to shine on her own, as we know. Um, but he controlled everything, like down to the backup singers. And although one of the albums, I can't remember if it was an album or a solo that she did, the producer paid him not to be a part of it. And she made a beautiful, 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 I know, a lovely song on that album. And some have argued that it was because she wasn't with Ike, and he was paid to basically stay out of it. Sometimes he would even force her to go on stage with like pneumonia and bronchitis and all kinds of ailments, allegedly. There was one time where apparently he broke her jaw and she went on stage and was bleeding apparently from her mouth. It was bad. So the story of how she got away was one night apparently after apparently she connected with Buddhism, was introduced to Buddhism, and that was like an impetus to um, find some peace in her life and confidence. And she would meditate and recite these mantras and was able to completely change her focus. And you know that's like a lot of life. What you focus on is sort of who you become and who you are. And she was very careful to, you know, once she had this positive influence in her life, which for her was Buddhism, take that and mobilize herself to have a better life, and she did. Apparently, they were at a hotel. He was sleeping. She said she started like rubbing his head, and then I wonder what you can do with that buoy. Um, she started rubbing his head, and then he fell asleep, and voila. She got out of there, ran across the street, taking an unusual path, almost got hit by like a truck or something, made her way across the street, and she said she didn't even have any money. She just took what she had, like 36 cents, um, showed her ID, and said, look, I'll pay for it. She arranged, one of her attorneys arranged for her to get a flight, and she basically went into hiding away from her away from Ike, and that was the beginning of her separation, her freedom. And she never looked back. She never went back to him. Um, there was also like violence in her home. I didn't know that. All these things that I just kind of was learning about her life after her passing. Her mom and dad basically abandoned her. I think her mom left first, and then dad followed suit, and so she had to be raised by another family member. You know, so to have the rejection of your parents and to have seen, I guess there was maybe some violence and fighting in the house. And she even said as she got older, she bought like a home for her mom, and despite the fact that she was abandoned by her, tried to, you know, make her life as palatable and comfortable as possible in her mother's golden years, despite the fact that her mom abandoned her. That shows a tremendous amount of character, I think, and just an incredible spirit. And she said even then, she wanted to be around her because her mother wanted to be around Tina because she was, you know, Anna, I guess, when she was born, but wanted to be around Tina because she was this famous, successful singer, but didn't even really like her at that point, never showed her love. It wasn't until much later that she found a you know, a longtime partner and eventually got married that she would have experienced love in her later years. And it's chilling to hear her talking on tape about what it was like to literally have no one love you, even from your near inception, from the beginning of your life. I can't imagine. And yet to not be bitter. Really quite a beautiful soul. Okay, back to the game. I have not fought one of these guys. I don't know if I can, if I have what I need yet to fight him, but I'm gonna try. I am going to try. Let's see if we can take him down. These are the one-eyed giants. The Cyclops, which is not what they're called here. Let's see. The Hinox. Okay, so that's not doing very much damage. Let's see if we can get some fuse going here. I don't know if I want to get that close to him, because if he stomps me, I am indeed dead. Alright, and the best I can do weapons-wise is this 7. Okay, I think we're just gonna, let's do fuse. Let's try that. Oops. It's not ideal. Okay, I'm gonna try. Let's see. That's something. Go, run, Link! Alright, these are a lot harder with no hearts. Ooh, he's moving. Big guy can move. So my strategy is like to hit him as much as I can, run as fast as I can, because he's going to try to get me. And then, let's see. We should be able to get him, yeah. Oop. He moves fast, man. There we go. Okay. Once this breaks, I'm going to take that new weapon, because I think I'm full. Yeah, I am. Okay. Yeah, I'm dead if he stops me. Whew. There's no middle ground with this dude. Not with 4 hearts. This is an ordeal. I'm just joking. But it is kind of funny how much effort he takes when you have really terrible weapons and... Oh, whew. But it's more fun. It's like exciting to try to kill this guy. Did I get him? Yeah. Alright, so switch our weapons again. We're going to want a fast swing for sure. I personally think fast swing weapons overall are easiest to use in this game. But they have slow swing weapons if that's your jam. Thank goodness that part's slow. Alright, let's reload our arrows, or bows rather. Get moving here. He's moving. Woo! He is moving. Good thing he doesn't have any logs nearby. Otherwise, I would be dead by now. Probably. Okay. Right, that broke. Whew. Let's do the Sonite's sword. I probably should have fused some weapons, and I think we can get, let's see, I can get this claymore, but I bet you that's a slow swing option, which is not going to help us in this circumstance. We need speed. Look at him. He's trying to stomp me. Just stomp you, buddy. Theoretically. So close. Like, think about the game logic involved here, like the fact that I can hit his feet and reduce his stamina. I guess you could say, or reduce, you know, the stamina wheel. There is life force wheel line store at the top. I mean, he's huge. I don't think that would hurt him nearly as much as the game suggests it would. Well, we got some stuff here. We defeated him. Hinox horn. Okay. Or cook it with a critter to make an elixir. That's all positive. All good stuff. Let's attach one right now. Let's see what we got. There's probably a less clumsy way to do this, but I'm new to all this, so I'm doing the best I can. Oh, and that's a slow swing. That's not what I really wanted. It's something. We'll work with it for now. Probably go to that to just let that expire. Another hope that I had in this game was some sort of metric to determine how far or how long your weapon would last. Like if they just had a little stamina bar or some version of that underneath each weapon so you know how many hits you have left, which would be so helpful when you're deciding, especially early on in the game, when you don't have a lot of spaces to store weapons. It'd be nice to know, all right, this doesn't have a little sparkle that you see on a fresh weapon, but I have no idea how much longer I'm going to be able to use this weapon. So I wish they had incorporated that into the game. Just a criticism of what we've got here, but still a really good game. Okay, so I see a shrine ahead, a little smoke, so we might be coming up, and then we've got obviously this tower and a little smoke, so that means we might be coming up on a village that we should investigate. We're going to take out these keys and this bad guy, which was very needed because we just lost another weapon. If I could do it again, I would not have attached my Hinnock's horn to that slow swing weapon, because once I detach it, unfuse it, I think I'm going to destroy it. Let's try. I think that's what happens with these. I know it happens for weapons you pick up that are already fused. Let's see if it happens for, yeah, you destroy it. So really, that Hinnock's horn is valuable. Oh, we got a bad guy, a couple bad guys. Oh, that was pretty good. That lasted 2 swings. That is pretty dismal. Okay, I think after we defeat this guy, let's turn back to discussing Tina Turner and her amazing life and legacy. Now, one thing I found interesting is that Ike sort of tried to blame Tina for what happened to her, saying that he thought that she wanted to be something that she wasn't, and that was the and thought it was somewhat incoherent when the reporter asked him about it, but he basically says she wanted to be something that I wanted, and which was something that she wasn't, and that caused us issues. And I just thought to myself, this is absolute nonsense. Switching back to the game briefly, this looks like a terrifying situation here with this boss bokoblin. I am trying to stay completely out of his sphere. There appear to be some pretty good things to collect here, but I don't think I have the stamina, and what I mean by stamina is the hearts, yet to be able to fight that guy. I think my husband's going to go to bed. Ike died, I think, in 2007. And she basically said, we are aware, or I am aware, that he passed away via like some manager or agent who was representing her. And she said that she didn't really, she realized he was sick later on. She started to forgive him. While he was alive, she did feel a great degree of animosity, which is understandable. He beat her mercilessly and controlled her life. She was like in a prison. He was incredibly controlling over her artistic capabilities and probably limited her to some degree in her early life. But after he died, she said that, maybe it was a good thing that she met him because he gave her a start in the industry, and so sort of came to terms with the fact that he clearly had some serious issues. And you can even see it in the interviews. I was watching a Johnny Carson interview with Tina Turner, and I was amazed that she seemed totally confident, totally in control of the conversation. He was basically mute, and she surmised that he had some issues, which obviously he did. You don't beat your wife if you don't have issues, or yeah, if you're gonna be your wife, you clearly have issues, and it's amazing that she was able to come to terms with it. I think after this shrine, I'm gonna grab a horse and call it quits, and we'll continue towards Rito Village in part 6. I also didn't realize that Lawrence Fishburne and Angela Bassett had Oscar-nominated performances. I think they both were in What's Love Got to Do with It, that 1993 biopic. Huh. Oh, no ascend possible there. Okay, so we have to find a way to keep the fire beneath it. Hmm. Hmm. We can jump at the right time. Huh. I know the key is turning that upright, but once we do that, I think it's gonna float. You know, I also found it interesting that Tina Turner, that is, started once she got her solo career. She was doing cabarets and not having a lot of success. Was on the Vegas circuit, and then eventually went over to Europe, where people kind of understood what she was. Her husband, I kind of talked about this idea that, she wasn't black enough for the black jockeys, according to him. She wasn't, or their act wasn't black enough for the black jockeys and white enough for the white jockeys. So she was kind of stuck in she was out of place and out of time, which has been, an attribute. It's been attributed, that quality has been attributed to her before. I wonder if I can hop in. Can I hop in? No, it doesn't want me in there, man. Like, I know the key is to... You know what? Maybe, what if we place this inside and then find a way to get on top somehow? Oh, that's interesting. Let's see if we... Yeah. Like, I know that's the key. So maybe if we now use this. And recall, maybe? We can hop on? Maybe. Let's see. Let's see. This might actually work. Fell right off. Fell right off the thing. But the idea was right. So it looks like you just float right on up there, maybe. Oh no. So I might be able to still get it through recall. Her name also, it was totally Ike's idea. She said that she had no idea that he was going to give her that name. And so I guess one day he was like, "Oh, Tina." And she was like, "Who's Tina?" And he was like, "That's you. You're Tina now." Let's try that again. At least recall, you can usually get to it in any place. Come on, let me in, let me in. And how about her performances in Mad Max? Amazing. Oh! Who would have knew? Game logic. Uh-oh. It's incredible that she also found love with Irwin. And I think he gave her a kidney. Don't quote me on that. As someone who has a family member struggling with chronic kidney disease, I can tell you it's very possible for a loved one to donate. Just a side note, if you know of someone in your life, or it you want to donate a kidney to someone. I've met people in these discussions that we've had in the process of trying to hopefully get a life-saving organ for my loved one. Um, it's amazing how the technology has come along to the point that it's really not even necessary um, to be a quote unquote matcher. I think even always have the same blood type. Oh, so close. Beautiful, beautiful to give the gift of life. Anyway, that's all I'll say on that subject. But yeah, I'm glad she was able to eventually find some kind of peace and happiness with Irwin. I am not great at announcing what I'm doing when I take a break from it. It got cut, so let's represent. We have the idea. I'm not sure if my execution is gonna get it. Grabberoni. Sometimes with these shrines, once you finally accomplish what you were trying to do, oh, on the river. No, I've got my mind is stuck on Tina songs, and because she covered so many songs, I never know what's hers. Um, what's Love got to do with it? I think was a song written for another British group that she made her own. Okay, so clearly they want us to. Maybe if I can climb a little higher. Oh no, we're going further than I want to go. So we're up here, which is something. So it looks like that's the direction we want to go in. Let's see if maybe there's a key we can get here that will lead us to our next destination. I mean, it looks like you need to go through that ceiling at the top, or the film. To arrive. Let's try that again. That looks suspiciously like something we should be doing. So let's stay together. A beautiful song. Proud Mary is one of my absolute favorites. Alright, so we're here on this level. I wonder what is your favorite Tina Turner song? or song associated with Tina Turner. So we're here. It really does look like we're supposed to take that over there. So maybe the thing to do is to pull it over, maybe. I wish I could hear the audio that you guys are hearing. So it lets us. So whenever it lets us do something that normally you can't do, you kind of get a sense of what's going on. Let's rewind that bad boy. So that seems a little bit far for Ultra Hand under normal circumstances. I wish we could get in. I just don't know how to get in. Oh, let's try again. So now we're gonna hop on. That is just tough. I don't know what the deal is there. Nope, that's not what we want. Let's try one more time. Well, probably more than one more time. So we can just hop on it. Let's put it right there, maybe. Oh, that almost worked. Can I rewind myself? All right, I was dithering about whether I'd go a little further. This for sure is going to be the last thing I do today. And if someone did leave a comment, I'm so sorry that I missed it, but for whatever reason, wouldn't it be cool if you could just ascend and that would solve all my problems? Let's see. I don't think you can. But you never know until you try. Nope. All right. Excuse me. So I'm gonna get on her. Come on. Come on. Ah! Maybe we'll come back to finish this shrine in part 6. I think so. Why not? I'm going back to OBS. All right, so thank you guys so much for joining me, whoever did or whoever watches this at a later date. Rest in peace, Miss Tina Turner. As I said in the description, an indomitable songstress and a behemoth of a talent, a beautiful person, someone who embodied resiliency and never let the cynicism of bitterness claim her or her identity. I mean, the beautiful things she did for her mother, the forgiveness of Ike, who beat her mercilessly and controlled her career, and her ability to triumph, despite the odds, to become a middle-aged superstar, the queen of rock and roll. Truly incredible. And so she will certainly be missed and leaves behind a lovely legacy. And I'm glad that she got to live 83 years. Died on Tuesday, according to her management, at the age of 83. My favorite is probably Private Dancer, or What's Love Got to Do with It. I think those are great songs. I wonder what everyone else thinks. I can't see my comments, so if you are posting, yeah, let's all just take a moment to honor a musical giant. Of course, I'll be back with another segment 6, right? Are we on to 6? Yeah, 6 will be next. And I am having a great time doing these. And all few people who are watching, I love it. And it feels like a close little club or something. I'm enjoying this immensely. I'm going to be doing this until we finish the game. I might take some breaks, which I probably will. But yeah, it's been really fun. So thank you guys so much. And I look forward. I'm realizing too that I need to pause before I end the stream. It's strange. But I'm going to stop streaming and see you later.